Okay, sir.
You all hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so today is June 16, 2021. Okay, so today is June 16th, 2021, and I would like to pray God and my dearest Almighty Dad that every single student who has joined this MS evening session Skype window gets or gathers all the traits and strengths that are required for surmounting all the problems and stress that could possibly come in their lives. I pray God that every single student who has joined this Skype sessions or the Skype window is blessed with every avenue that is required for their survival, their sustenance, and their persistence for facing their life situations. I pray God that every single student who has joined this Skype window is given with the knowledge capital, strength, and skills that are required to call themselves as the best iconic figure or iconic person in their respective domains. I would like to pray God that every single student behaves as a good child to their parent, and at the same time being very classified citizen and courageous citizen in the country, and most of all they are as very good human beings for the fellow human beings. God bless all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Okay,
you,
thank you.
sir.
So we are continuing the flyover fantasies activity. So there are about 6 members who are yet to make the presentation. Kalpita Sri is going to be the first person to make the presentation. Kalpita, get on with it.
Okay, sir. Sir, now I'll share my screen, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can you see my screen, sir?
Yes, I am able to see. Everybody seeing
Okay, sir.
Kalpita's.
Shall I share?
Yeah, 1 second.
Okay, sir.
Time starts now, Kalpita. 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening, sir, and good evening, friends. Thanks for giving me an opportunity to present, sir. So, as we all know, this is Flying Over Fantasies, and it is presented by E. Kalpita Shri. Now, one of the most popular YouTube channel is Keshri Reviews, in which we have posted a lot of videos regarding reviewing on books, and we would focus more on the people who are asking us reviews and their opinions. So this time, I have got a lot of comments on my opinion about watching movie, how I watch movie, and what are my personal favorite movies and why did I like so. So now let's get into the presentation. And today I have chosen three movies to be presented here. So the first one is The Upside, and it is an movie that was acted by Kevin Hart, Bryan Cranston, and Nicole Kidman. It was also remade in Tamil as Tola. It was introduced on year 2017, and I would like to play the role of Dell, that is Kevin Hart, because he is the main heart piece of the entire story, and he is the protagonist of the entire movie. So I would like to play his role, and the story is very simple. There is a person who's very rich, and he's searching for a caretaker who takes care of him like a brother, and not like the person who was appointed down of him. So that is Dell's character here, and as I told, I would like to play Dell's character. Because I have seen a lot of people like this, and I'm personally more interested on those kinds of people, and I would like to be one of them who takes care of all those people who are not being treated properly in the society. So the reasons as why I want to play the role of Dell is I want to make people feel special, and I have been personally connected to this kind of person, and I have a person in my family who's like this. So I have experience, and I would like to be as Dell for that particular person, and that's why I would like to play that particular character. So the impact ratio on this movie from this movie is as follows. The first one is I started understanding the feelings of people, and I felt I should not hurt anyone, especially those who are like that. And I have heard a story that is most of them would have heard this. A boy around 6 to 7 years, and he goes for an pet shop. He's more interested on pets, and he goes there. He wants to buy a dog, especially a dog. There he sees a lot of dogs, and that cost around 1,000 to 2,000 rupees, and he takes 2,000 rupees with him. And there he sees a particular dog that is kept alone, and the shopkeeper did not take that particular dog and show that to him. And the boy asked which is the most costliest dog in your shop, and he said that it costs around 5 to 6,000, and he bought that particular dog because the dog wasn't having one leg. And that is how we also have to treat those people. This is I'm a kind of person who likes people who are not as normal. I would not like them to differentiate from us, but I like like those kind of person. And the second one is I enjoyed every single thing I do. That particular person was Dell, and he did not have any he was actually aimless, and he did not have any thoughts on what future he is going to have, but he did enjoy every single thing he did. So that is a few of the impact ratio on my life after seeing that movie. And here are the learning insights from the movie The Upside. The first one is to contribute for happiness of people. We have a lot of people around, but none of them take special efforts to make other people's happy. We are sometimes we feel that we are selfish, and I do not want to be that kind of person. I would like to be selfless and be the reason for someone's happiness. This statement I have mentioned in my vision board also, and I think I'm doing it properly. So the second one is the person who was paralyzed. He had his hope in every single moment. He did not think he is use of nothing, but he did something of his own sort. So as the saying goes, hope for the best and prepare for the worst, and that's what he did follow. The one of the most important learning out of this movie is value people more than money and their possessions. Like, we can be rich at any time, but it needs a special and strong heart to make other people happy. So these are the learnings of that particular movie. And the second movie I have chosen is Lakshya. It's a Hindi movie, and it was acted by Hrithik Roshan, and it is one of the most oldest movie which I have seen. which I have saw. It is from the year 2004, and I like the movies which are based on war, soldiers, and army. So I would like to play the role of Karan, that is Hrithik Roshan here. The story is very simple. He is an person who is aimless, and he would like to do something. One day, his friends say that they would like to be an army. They would like to be a journalist. There, he thinks for a second, and he waits for a second and thinks what he has as an aim in his life, and he gets nothing. One of his friends says that he would like to be army. He goes back of him, and he also sends an letter to the academy of soldiers in his area, and he was placed. He went to the camp, and he came back. But after coming back, he regretted it, and again he got back to the army. So this is the simple plot line of this story, and the reasons why I would like to play his characters. I have few of the goals that I would like to make people happy, and I would like to be more sociable. And giving this movie gave me confidence, and it motivated me. Every single person who have watched this movie, and particularly who were aimless, it is definitely worth watching. And there when Karan was there, and he was with his peer mates. Few of the people thought about what is going to happen next, and if I were there, I would not let them to think what will happen next. I would have made them in the present, and made them happy at that particular sequence. And the last one is made the opponent country understand the value of life. Once there would be an shooting, there would be a small war sequence, and there few of the soldiers of our country will be lost, and what they would do is they will never give back the body, but the Indian soldiers will have a few of the terrorists of the opposite country, and they would make all the rituals, and they would make their soul more peaceful. So I would have made the opponent country understand the value of life, whereas they did not do the same as what Indian soldiers did. Next one, reasons as why I wanted to play the role is it motivated me, and one of my goal is to inspire people. So it motivated me to inspire people, like how Karan was an inspiration for his family and friends. I would like to be an inspiration for my family and my friends. And I like most of the adventures, and I would like to experience all the kind of adventures that is available on the world, like bungee jumping, scuba diving, and everything like this. That one particular sequence is going to be about hill climbing. We have to climb the hill to in order to make the war successful, and there he climbs the hill. That is one of the most important, and it made me more interested on the movie. That hill climbing sequence, I wanted to experience that, and that is one of the reason why I would like to play the role of Hrithik Roshan, that is Karan, in this movie. The impact ratio is I saw the movie before a few years, and that is where I got a thought that what I am going to do in life. People say that they have very different goals, but I was a person who did not have anything in my mind, but before 2 to 3 years, and that a particular thing changed me, being aimless to have a goal in my life. And the one more
ஆமாடா.
the one more learning and the impact ratio on my life is life is not always bed of roses. Hrithik was actually a rich person who had everything. He had servants in his house. He had different types of cars, but still there was something missing in his life, and that is what is called as goal. And he had lot of obstacles on overcoming all those, and he was successful. So these are the impact ratios of that particular film. And the insights are, these are the learning insights of mine. So here the most important one is, no matter what aim is to be achieved. Initially he had no aim, but once he got it, he have gone through he has gone through overseas, and he had some a lot of obstacles, and still he managed to be successful. So That is one of the important learning. And the next one is to manage with whatever we are given with. One particular sequence, 12 soldiers will be appointed to go for the war, but in the mid, six will be shot dead, and only six will be remaining. Those six will accomplish the mission and gave pride for India. So this is also one of my learning. And to believe in team if any missions are yet to be accomplished. The Hrithik believed in all his teammates, though his teammates never wanted to be with him. He was the one who said we all can do it, and he gave inspiration and motivation to his entire teammates. So these are the learnings out of the movie Lakshya. And the next movie is Wonder Woman. I would like to possess few of the skills from Wonder Woman, not the entire character of her, but few of the skills from her. So the reason why I would like to play the role of her is, as I said, to possess lot of skills, and I can go anywhere with my superpower. In that particular movie, she'll have a long rope, and if she stucks it out of her back, it will we shall travel anywhere. So it would be very nice if I have that. This is all fantasy, and she has one particular skill that she can run at 97 kilometers per hour. And if I had that skill, I would meet my friends who are far away, and I would meet my relatives who are far away, and soon come back to my home. So the reasons why I want to play the role is, the first thing is, it is more adventurous. It is one of the most adventurous skills that person is possessing. So and we can experience the face of Spider-Man also, like how he travels with the web he have, like that Wonder Woman travels with the rope she has. So I always wanted to be in Spider-Man also, like possess his skills. When it is combined, like Spider-Man and Wonder Woman, one common thing is they are ready to travel to anywhere with that particular long rope. So I think if I had that, it would be more special. When I get late for going for somewhere, if I had that particular rope in my hand, I would go anywhere very soon. And she have possessed both had good abilities in both physical and mental. She had good arms and ammunition skills, and likewise she had both mental abilities and physical abilities. So that is why I wanted to play that role. The impact ratio after the movies, it also inspired a lot of women there. And my impact ratio is to have courage in everything. Like she always wanted to do something, and she had the courage, believe, and faith that she will accomplish that particular one. So that is the impact ratio. And focus on my strengths. She had a lot of skills like horse riding. She was very good in different languages and arms and ammunition. So it would be better if I focus on my strength, and to improve more upon all the skills I have. So these are the impact ratio. The learnings out of that particular movie is, cheating and taking a shortcut is neither right nor worth it. Like few of the peoples in our society always wanted to win, but they do not take the right path. That will be portrayed in that particular movie very well. And believe in yourself and your powers. When we focus on our strengths, it would be more better, instead of focusing upon opponent's weakness. In my personal opinion, I would feel it would be better if we focus on our own strengths. And the next one is, appearances can be deceiving. In that character called Maxwell, he would look rich, and he will boast himself, but what the actual truth is, he was bankrupt, and he had loans to be paid. He had a lot of nails in his devices that he had to pay. But what we all know is, he's a person who's having everything. He is rich, he is happy, but the actual truth is, he was nothing. He had his entire life in his loans. So appearances can be deceiving, and we need not believe in what we actually see. And the next one is stop focusing on your competition. In what one particular sequence, there will be a horse ride between Diana, the young girl, and an Amazonian woman, where Diana will be focusing on that Amazonian woman, and she would lose the race on focusing on her. So these are the learnings out of that movie. And one more thing is, there is a takeaway from all the problems. We all have problems, and we all sometimes have a neutral state of mind on what is going to happen next, but there is going to be some learning out of each and every problem. So these are the learnings from that particular movie. Thank you so much for listening to me thus far, sir. Thanks for giving me an opportunity, sir. Thank you, sir.
Wonderful presentation, Kavita. Very well.
Thank you,
Well
sir.
done,
Well
Kalpita.
done,
Thank you,
Kalpita.
Mr. Thank you,
Very well
thank you,
done, Kalpita.
Well done,
thank you,
Kalpita.
Puna.
Very well done, Kalpita.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you, friends.
Right. Hands raised for the questions. Mitra, you can go first.
Okay, sir. Good evening, Kalpita. It was a very nice presentation, Ka. Your choice of choosing these three movies was really nice, Ka. I have a question towards the third movie, Ka, that is Wonder Woman, Ka. I heard this like 3 or 4 years ago, Ka. I heard some people speaking about this, and I like the concept of Wonder Woman, but I haven't watched the movie, Ka, but I like the concept really well. There was part one, that is Wonder Woman, and recently in one of the OTTs, the part two, that is Wonder Woman 1984, was released. So if you had watched it, which do you think, from which movie you got lot of learning insights, whether from the part one or part two?
Mitra, it is from the part one, Mitra, which was released in 2017, and that is what I have made in the presentation. And those were the learnings out of that particular movie, Mitra. The second part I have watched only few, Mitra. So I think if I compare both, I need a little more time to explain you that, Mitra.
Okay, no problem. Thank you so much.
Okay, so Dakshin Siddharth.
Thank you, sir. So it was a really good presentation, Kalpita. And my question to you is regarding the characters which you explained. If you could be one of those three characters for one entire day, which character would you like to be? Just one.
Thank you, Dakshina. That was very nice question. I would like to be play the character of Delna, that is from the movie The Upside, because as I mentioned in the presentation, I have a person in my family who's paralyzed. So I would like to make him more feel more special, like how Kevin Hart did for him. So I would like to play the role of Del for one entire day now.
Okay, Kalpita, thank you.
Next is Guru Prasanna.
Yes, sir. Kalpita ka, your presentation was wonderful ka. I'm not asking you a question. I'm asking help from you. What movie you told ka? The second movie you told about.
The second movie was Lakshya, Guru Prasanna. It was released on 2004 by Hrithik Roshan.
Yes, ka. Is the movie available in other languages ka?
I'm not sure about that, Guru Prasanna. I think it is available in Hindi.
No, Lakshya is not available in dubbed version. It is actually it's actually I think OTTs have Lakshya. It was when I was working as a professor in MCT. Siddharth Vijayan was my student. And the time they all bunked the class and they watched that movie. And the time, அதனால இப்போ வந்துட்டு dubbed version இருக்கிற மாதிரி தெரியல, but Hindi is, I think it's available in Hotstar or something. தமிழ்ல இல்ல.
Okay. Okay, sir. For seeing only I asked, because I also not having any long time goal, sir. So I was about to see that movie, sir.
Okay. See War, watch War, and if, that's even more lethal than Lakshya.
Yes, sir.
Hrithik Roshan is a commander and Tiger Shroff is junior. Hrithik Roshan becomes a traitor of the country. So watch that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions towards Kalpita? All right. Okay. So Kalpita finished her presentation in 22 minutes, inclusive of the question and answer. Good job, Kalpita. I really appreciate the PPT. PPT was really nice, and your choice of the movies were really good.
Very well done,
Thank you
Kalpita.
so much, sir.
Well done,
Thank you,
Kalpita.
Mitra.
Well
Very
done,
well done,
Thank you,
Kalpita.
friends.
Kalpita.
Thank you, Brinda. Thank you, friends.
Okay. So now the next presenter is going to be Dakshin Siddharth.
Yes, sir. Sir, my voice is audible, right, sir?
Yeah, voice is good.
And is my screen visible, sir?
Yeah, I'm able to see the screen.
Yes, na.
Okay, sir. Shall I start, sir?
Sylvester Stallone, Rocky, he advises this towards his son. This
Yes, sir.
particular, yeah, right. Nice choice of a clip. The statement is nobody's gonna hit as hard as your life, but it is not how hard you can hit, it is how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. It's how you take it, how much you take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. He says this in parlance with boxing sport. No, I'm getting addicted to speaking about it, so I'll leave Dakshin to that. Dakshin, you can start.
Thank you, sir. So nobody is going to hit as hard as life, but it's not how hard you can hit. It's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. It's how much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. I would like to start my presentation on a positive note with this wonderful quote. And today, let me introduce myself first of all. I'm MS Dakshin Siddharth, and I'm the CEO of International Entertainment Union. You can see our wonderful logo right here. And our motto is connecting films and lives. How is watching one particular film or watching a group of films related to our own life? I used to go to a session called MS Evening Session when I was young, and I'm going to relate that particular session with some of the movies I have right here. Now, let's go to a historic timeline. In 1888, Ronde Garden Scene, it was a French motion picture which was for about 2.11 seconds. And that particular movie was released in 1888. It was, of course, in black and white. And in 1918, we had Cupid Angling, which was the first color movie. And talking about India, Ammoru, a Telugu computer graphics films. That was the first film made using computer graphics in India. So it's just a brief historic timeline about movies. And let's now get a psychological insight before quickly explaining the movies which I have. What are the pros of watching movies? There are various cons as well, but we are not going to discuss all that. We'll just focus on the positive aspect right now. Awareness. Movies create a lot of awareness on various social messages, and certain movies also voice out against social evils. So these kind of movies, have a good impact on the psychology of an individual, especially youngsters, because youngsters are impulsive. They get inspired and induced by whatever they see. So if we show such positive movies with great social messages, they'll instantly get addicted. They'll instantly get that induced feeling of getting into action. And certain movies can be inspirational. For example, biopics. Various biopics that we have seen are very inspirational, and youngsters can consider the heroes of that particular biopic to be their role models, and it can prove the saying that nothing is impossible. Now, let's talk in a more scientific way. A combination of a lot of biometric devices, let's say similar to a Fitbit or an Apple smartwatch, and a lot of questionnaires were done to investigate what happens to our bodies and minds during a 2-hour film. And remarkably, what we found that the heart rates of the audience who are watching the film, they are elevated despite the fact that they were sitting still. So the heart rates were about 45 to 80 percentage of their maximum heart rate, and the British Heart Foundation calls this particular rate as a healthy heart rate. So we have a healthy psychological impact while watching movies. And there's a professor called Professor Deblin who illustrates, the various psychological responses while seeing a movie. He says this exact statement. What we see is that the heart rate and electrodermal activity, an indirect measure of emotional arousal, go up and down with the narrative arc of the movie, meaning their heart rates elevate and drop depending on the engagement of the story. So the public are glued to the particular screen, and they imagine themselves as being connected to that movie. It's a very good psychological impact. And audience were also, asked questionnaires about how they felt, how was their feeling towards their fellow audience before and after watching the film. They said that they felt a greater sense of belongingness to their fellow movie watchers after watching the film. So, in addition, what cinema brings to us is a distraction free environment. Our modern life is often characterized by multitasking and social media distractions. These are the items which always, compete for our attention. This is the brand which wants to pull us in. But cinema and other cultural events like dramas, music, etc., they allow us to concentrate and practice focusing. Now let's go to the next slide. Now, I'm going to be speaking about 4 movies and explaining to you how these movies have impacted my life. My presentation will be divided into 5 sections. The first section will be called Summary and Ratings. We'll talk about the film in a very precise and concise manner, and the ratings which people have given, including my personal rating. Psychological perspective. I'm going to relate this particular film with whatever I've learned in my childhood in MS evening sessions, and the important message, the learning objective, which is portrayed by the film, my favorite character, the learning objectives out of the film, and how this film could impact the youngsters. So let's go to the first film. It's called Interstellar, and the genre is science fiction. And Oscar-winning director Christopher Nolan has directed this particular film, and the year of release was 2014. This film is one of my most favorite films of all time, and this film is often considered as the best space sci-fi film ever made. This is the best space science fiction film ever made. If you're a science lover, then this movie is a must watch for you. Don't miss it out. This movie is packed with a lot of concepts related to science and even related to adventure. This movie is all about a journey which NASA undertakes to save humanity by finding a new planet to live in. It's a very creative concept, and this movie involves various astrophysics concepts. For instance, the concept of black holes, time dilation, and a lot of other concepts as well. Astrophysics lovers will definitely love this movie. And this movie also has a good emotional connect with the audience. It revolves around Cooper, who is actually a spaceship pilot in NASA, but for the initial phase of the movie, he is retired from being that particular occupation, and he resorts to farming. And then he's again called back to NASA to complete the mission, which is called Endurance, which is to find a habitable planet. Because what happens is, at one point of time, the timeline is not clearly mentioned, but at one particular time, the Earth's food supply is constantly running out. And this movie is often considered to be a scientific masterpiece. 94% is the rating by Google users, 9 out of 10 by IMDb, and my personal rating for this film is 9.9 out of 10. Let's go. This is the heart piece of my presentation, psychological perspective and important message. Now let's try to understand this film from some other perspectives. This movie is very emotional because it emotionally connects the audience. It's because a beautiful father-daughter relationship between Cooper and his daughter Murph. Cooper has to leave his daughter behind in order to save Earth. So it's a very emotional sort of film, and a lot of viewers even stated that they felt emotionally connected to this particular film. This movie emphasizes that one must respect the organization where he or she once worked. What I'm trying to say is there are a lot of people who start to criticize their previous organization where they worked before, but Cooper doesn't do that. He's a person with a lot of work ethic and professionalism. He respects NASA, despite the fact that he resigned from NASA at one particular time. He goes back to serve NASA and to save Earth. That shows his mentality of respecting his former employers. The movie also exhibits a brilliant concept that every human must inculcate and incorporate: responsibility before sentiments. Cooper could have stayed back to take care of his family, to stick to his sentiments, but he chose to do his responsibility because he was the only person qualified enough to lead the mission. So, despite the fact that it will take a lot of years to come back to Earth, and by the time he comes back, his daughter would be very old. despite all that, he wants to save Earth, and that's where his responsibility comes. So he doesn't let his sentiments interfere in his work ethic. That's a very important message. And this movie emphasizes the virtue of being focused and concentrated in whatever we do. Now, therapy. In MS evening sessions, as I mentioned, I learned a lot of psychological therapies. And one particular therapy which I could incorporate and associate with this particular film is candle exercise, because candle exercise is a film. I'm sorry, not a film. It's a therapy which involves a lot of concentration and focus. Okay, and we had a system called credit rating system where we were judged on various parameters, and one particular parameter was professionalism, how professional we are. So professionalism is a CRS 2.0. We had two phases of it, and the second phase had this particular column called professionalism, and this particular column is related, very much related to this movie. And the learning message, the important message that we can learn from this movie is always show professionalism in whatever task you do. Imbibe and incorporate the quality of being focused and concentrated in your task, and always don't forget to care about your family too. And we know Cooper is a very caring father as well, but at the same time, do not let those sentiments to distract you from your path. Don't let the sentiments interfere in your professionalism, and never let emotions to take over you, take control of you, because if you fall down to emotions, then you cannot be successful. Never let emotions to derail you from your path. We are also always have to take quick decisions in a wise manner, and we must never doubt our decisions and back away from our decision at the last moment. Section 3, my favorite character, Joseph Cooper. Let me point out some traits which he has. He's a very skilled pilot, and he's a man of great expertise, of course. He's a man of self-respect. He respects himself. He's a man of words. He always lives up to his promise. He's a responsible professional. He's a true professional, and he's a man who always believes in reality. He knows that if he goes to lead the mission, it'll take him like decades to come back to Earth, and he would miss a lot of like responsibilities he has to do as a father. But still, he doesn't live under a myth that I'll finish this mission faster to go home tomorrow itself, because he knows that is not possible. He lives in reality, and he focuses on the present scenario, which I think everyone must inculcate from him. And that's why I like this character so much. And he's a man with unparalleled mental strength. He is filled with mental strength. He's mentally strong. It's not only about his physical strength, because to be an astronaut, to be a spaceship pilot, and take all those risks, in order to do all that, you need immense amounts of mental strength, and he has it. He loves his passion. He's true to his passion. His passion, despite the fact that he's doing farming at one point of time, he is staunch and he loves his passion. And there's a difference between he loves his passion and he's staunch towards his passion. A lot of us love our passion, but we are not loyal towards our passion. But he's both loving and as well as honest, and he's staunch and loyal. So he follows his passion very closely, and his love towards nature is commendable as well. As a farmer, he also loves nature. And one key point about him is he never backs away from his responsibilities and challenges. He's always ready to take up challenges, and he doesn't care what impacts it might cause, because he knows that he has to take up his challenges and responsibilities at one point of time, and he doesn't back away from all that. And some of the learning objectives here is, what would I do if I were Joe Cooper? I would have definitely chosen to go to the mission and save the Earth, because that would have been my passion. And I wouldn't do anything different from what Joe Cooper did in this particular movie. And why did I have such a wild horse imagination? The primary reason why I pulled this movie into my presentation is I watched this movie around 2 years ago, and I watched it almost thrice. And I just love this film. I just can't get enough of this movie. And I'll be honest with you, the first time I watched this movie, I did not understand anything. I had to watch it for the second time to understand what it actually conveyed, because there are a lot of twists and turns, a lot of scientific concepts that I could not understand 2 years ago. But now, after watching it like for the second time, I understood everything clearly. And this shows the creativity and imagination which the director has, and even more than the creativity, the scientific knowledge which the director has. And we don't see directors with a good scientific knowledge. We see a lot of directors with great creativity, but this director, Christopher Nolan, he also has a lot of scientific knowledge. So if I were Joe Cooper, and if I had to imagine something which I did if I was in this movie, I would have definitely chosen to lead the mission Endurance. And because that's where my responsibility towards mankind lies. An impact ratio of my life. I learned a lot of scientific concepts by this film, and I'm still learning a lot of astrophysics concepts. I'm very much interested towards space research, astrophysics, and all astronomy and all these stuff. I'm very much curious to learn more about these. Impact on future generation. This is a very interesting column. A lot of people believe that this particular film, Interstellar, has to be taught in schools and colleges because you can see the Paramount Pictures. It's a very famous firm. It has teamed up with Google Play for education to create a set of free lesson plans based on the films. They are encouraging schools to take up. You could see
Dakshin, your voice cut out. Am I the only one who's not hearing Dakshin?
No, sir.
Sir, I'm not able to hear
No, sir, we are
Dakshin.
also not.
No, sir, I am also can't able
No,
to
sir. We
hear
are
him.
also not hearing, sir.
Right, Dakshin, your voice cut out. Timer stopped. Which is that.
So can you hear me now? So sorry, sir, there was a power cut because of the weather.
I told you, fix the router with UPS. I told you, right? 10 days,
So, but
5 days back.
yes, sir, but the electrician did not come. So my mom tried contacting him. So that's why, sir.
Right. Okay. So get on with it.
Yes, sir.
Tell me
I'll
when you're
continue.
ready. Shall I resume the timer?
Yes, sir. Can you see the screen, sir?
Yeah, that's the screen. Put it on slideshow version.
Yes.
All right, timer resuming. 14 minutes and 9 seconds elapsed, and timer resume. 3, 2, 1, go.
So as I said, Paramount Pictures has brought up this initiative, and they are encouraging schools to take free lessons based on this particular film. So you can see how this film could impact the future generation. You could see all the topics here: the gravity of it all, recursion, biosphere bottle experiment with a twist. So you could see all these concepts which could be taught in schools, and you could also see that the grades are also being specified. Certain schools have taken up free lessons based on this particular film, and scientists also claim that the concepts in this film should be incorporated in secondary education because it's a very important film which should be watched by each and every youth who's interested towards astrophysics. Now let's get into the second film, and it's Joker, and it's an Oscar-winning masterpiece. And the genre is psychological drama. The director is Todd Phillips, and the year of release is 2019. Let me be honest, this is the most unique film that I've ever come across. This film is not only about the typical features that everyone likes. It's not only about the action sequences, it's not only about the adventure, it's not only about the crime sequences and all that which people like. It's more than that. This artists, especially artists, will love this movie. You might be asking, what do I mean by artists? Well, art is not only something which we do on a basis like paintings, sketches, and all that stuff. Artistry is the purest form of doing something. So this film it's pure filmmaking, it's pure acting, and if you like to watch pure talented actors coming up, then this film is a must watch because it's very closely related to psychology. And the actor, Joaquin Phoenix, he doesn't play the Joker, he lives the Joker actually. A lot of people questioned whether he would live up to the expectations, live up to the legacy which Heath Ledger once established. Heath Ledger was a former person who played the Joker, and he was outstanding, he was phenomenal. And people were still doubting if Heath Ledger could be replaced. No, it's not possible to replace Heath Ledger because he was one of a kind, but definitely his legacy could be carried forward. And that's what Joaquin Phoenix has done. He's carried the legacy forward. He's carried the legacy of Heath Ledger forward. And there are a lot of people who said no one can replace Sachin Tendulkar, which is absolutely true. No one can replace him, but Virat Kohli is carrying the legacy forward. People said no one can replace Diego Maradona, but yeah, Diego Maradona is one of a kind. No one can replace him, but Lionel Messi is carrying the legacy forward. So similarly, the legacy of Heath Ledger is being carried by Joaquin Phoenix, and it was a brilliant acting performance, I should say. And this film, it's around a simple man whose only aim is to make people happy. He's actually a clown who works in a circus, and his aspiration is to do stand-up comedy. But the society around him demotivates him. Actually, Joker is a villainish character, but villains also have a story which makes them do villainish activities, and this is a film like that. The simple man whose name is Arthur Fleck, he begins his quest for revenge because he's always bullied. He always has a good heart and he wants to make people laugh, but the society is always backfiring on him. And this film, it reflects the true meaning of the art of acting. If you want to see a talented actor who could play any role, who could play a variety of roles that you give him due to his versatility, then this particular film, the lead character, Arthur Fleck, which is played by Joaquin Phoenix, this is the film for you. And this film is definitely different from all other movies. And Oscars don't come for free because in this competitive era, even winning one particular Oscar is very difficult. And this film has won the Oscar in a very tough category, which is the best actor. And Joaquin Phoenix has done that. And the ratings, which is provided by Google users, is 91%, 9 by 10 by 9 out of 10 by IMDb, and 9.9 out of 10 by me. Let's get into the most important phase of our presentation, psychological perspective and important message. This movie revolves around the psychology of a normal middle class man, and his only objective and motive is to make people laugh. But unfortunately, he's bullied and mistreated. He's psychologically affected. He falls mentally ill, and that's why he starts committing crimes. And Arthur Fleck leads a revolution. There's a city called Gotham in this particular movie, and the rich were always piling up pressure and prejudice on the poor. They were staunch, and they stamped their authority, and they believed that the rich are much greater than the poor. But Arthur represents resilience. He wants everyone to stand up against the biased rich. He revolutionizes the system, and despite having psychological problems, he still has an optimistic and a clear goal. The protagonist has a purpose. He has a stipulated goal, and goal setting is a vital core of the MS sessions value system. The protagonist uses the technique of visualization to help himself to be a great stand-up comedian. His only aim is to become a stand-up comedian, and he visualizes himself being a stand-up comedian. So visualization, as we all know, is a very integral part of MS evening sessions. And the important psychological concept of alter ego is also beautifully portrayed by the filmmaker. So Joker is another self of or classic. Now, how is this film related to MS evening sessions? The therapy which I could associate with this movie is theater in mind, because we need a lot of visualization and the subliminal message conversion. Subliminal message conversion, as we all know, it's a technique to speak to our subconscious mind. And the CRS2 feature implied here is leadership. Since Arthur leads the great revolution against the rich. So we must never bow down to injustice, and we must be the first one to lead a change or a revolution. That's what a true leader should do. We must always have a purpose, and we must have a visualization. We must use visualization to travel closer to our stipulated goal. Now, my favorite character here is Arthur Fleck. He has a great sense of humor. He wants everyone in his surroundings to be happy, and he has a great purpose. He is a very caring son. He loves his mother. His mother is the most important person in his life, and he's a great visualizer. He visualizes his goals to be in an achieved state. He's very loyal towards his passion. He One thing which I like about him is he smiles even during challenging situation. You could see how happily he's dancing. It's a very iconic scene in this particular movie where he's dancing despite the fact that he knows that his life is screwed up. He knows that his life is in a very difficult situation, but still he's happy. And this is a very iconic scene. This scene alone is worth Oscars. And he smiles during challenging situations, as I said, and he led a revolution. So he's a true leader. He doesn't realize that he's a leader, but he ends up leading the revolution which took place in Gotham City. He fought injustice, and he never doubts his expertise, despite the fact that people commented on him. People said that, Arthur, you cannot be a good stand-up comedian because you have various psychological problems. Despite all that, he believed in himself. He believed in his skill. He never doubted his skills, despite the fact that everyone around his vicinity was doubting his skills. He was up against almost the whole world, but still he stuck by his side. He stuck up to his particular expertise. Now, the learning objective. Well, I honestly wouldn't like to be Arthur Fleck, but if I was Arthur Fleck, I would have dealt the situation in a different manner. Yes, Arthur Fleck was having a lot of psychological problems and he led a revolution, but still he committed crimes and murders. I would not have done that. I would have dealt the situation in a different way. But still, Arthur had psychological problems, so he could not think much better. But Arthur did kill the bad people. That's the most important thing. He never harmed innocent people. So he only harmed the people who were pressurizing the poor. So I think what Arthur did was perfectly fine. And why did I have such a wild horse imagination? Like, I was just astounded by this particular character, Arthur Fleck, because we don't see much of people like him. Certain villains do certain things for a good cause, and Arthur is one of them. And a lot of films portray villains in a very bad type, but in fact, there are a lot of villains who have mastered. The people who play villains are actually people who have mastered the skill of acting, because playing the villain is the most tough thing that one could do in one particular film. And impact ratio on my life. I never watched such a film, and I never imagined that we could have such a film existing. So that's why I was really, really astounded by this particular film. An impact on future generation. This film will be loved by psychologists especially, and it will be helpful on various case studies. And the film can motivate youngsters to take up psychology, and it deals with various concepts that could be very handy for people who especially choose psychology. And this film could change the nature in which films are judged. A lot of people judge films only by the action sequences, only by the dramatic scenes, but this film could change the way in which films are being judged in the world. And the film will lead to more talented actors coming up, because we see the credit which Joaquin Phoenix gets after being after playing the lead in this film. So this could lead more talented actors, and it could motivate them to come up the ranks and show their talent. And it will stimulate the directors to produce more classical films like this. Now let's go to the next film, Uri the Surgical Strike, and its genre is action, drama, and war. Director is Aditya Dhar, and the year of release is 2019. Section 1, Summary and Ratings. This film is based on true military events, and this film is definitely going to arouse patriotism in whoever watches this film. I really love this film a lot because it's about the surgical strike carried out by our army on various terrorist launchpads across Pakistan occupied Kashmir. And we did that by intruding into Pakistan occupied Kashmir on foot and not even using helicopters. So it's even more risky. And despite all the riskiness, we came out of Pakistan without one man down, without even being a single man down. Only one of our men was injured, partially injured, but otherwise we returned in full form and in a good shape. And on 18 September 2016, what happened? This incident happened before the surgical strike, and this incident was the reason why we carried out the surgical strike, is because four heavily armed Pakistani terrorist militants intruded into Uri, Jammu and Kashmir, and they killed 19 Indian soldiers in their sleep. This is pure cowardice because they did not have the guts to face our soldiers face to face. And Major Vihan Singh Shergill, and you might know that in Green Opal skit, I took this name Vihan. This is because I liked this character, and that was the first time when I saw the film. So that's why I took out this name, because this name is really interesting. He loses his brother Karan, who's also a military officer. While Karan was trying to resist the militants, he accidentally pulled a grenade and he loses his life. So Vihan goes there not only as a caring brother, but also as a true Indian, and he is ready to risk his life to avenge the Pakistanis. And India undertakes a strong surgical strike to send out a message to Pakistan on the international forum. Despite the fact that Pakistan kept denying the attack, we all know how Pakistan is, how they deny things on the international stage. So Vihan and his troops infiltrate into POK by foot to avoid being caught by the radars. So this mission is a grand success, and there are no major casualties on the Indian sides. And you could see the ratings. I have given it a 9.9 because I really love this movie, and it's you could understand better in this slide. This film connects with the audience by bolstering the feelings of patriotism and nationalism. That is, it bolsters the feeling of the love which we have towards our country. And this film represents the attitude of Indian militants. This is the most important point. Kindly pay attention. Do your duty without materialistic expectations. This is the main theme of the credit rating systems which we have in MSES sessions. So this film is the closest in terms of association with the concept of CRS, because soldiers always do their duty without expecting anything in return. They just do it for their passion. And this film proves that at critical times, we have to be bold enough to take risks. There were various options. India could have left it out. They could have ignored this particular attack and moved on instead of risking the lives of their soldiers in doing a surgical strike. But India wanted to send out a clear message, so they took this risk. And at crucial situations, we have to take risks, and we have to be bold enough to take risks. And this film also shows the positive self discipline and positive self control of the soldiers. So, the concept of the 10 PSF, that is positive self factors, is displayed here. And this film also implies that there must be zero ego in a group in order to succeed, because Indian army consists of soldiers from various states, various castes, various types of people. So we must get rid of ego in order to be successful. The therapy associated with this movie is synaptic pruning, and the CRS 2.0 feature implied here is basic behavior. We have to behave in a proper way. We must have a proper self control over ourselves in order to be successful in our mission. That's how soldiers are successful. And the important message which this movie gives is always do your duties without expecting materialistic gains. Because if you expect materialistic gains, you will not enjoy what you're doing. So we have to be, selfless, and we have to be brave, and we must never hesitate to take risks if they are badly needed. And we must have a self control and self discipline. And we must take our soldiers as an inspiration and respect them. We have to respect our soldiers because they spend sleepless nights sleepless nights so that we could sleep peacefully. These are the key words here. And also never let your ego take over you. My favorite character here is Major Vihan Singh Shergill. He's a man of principles. He's an embodiment of patriotism. He loves his country even more than his family. But at the same time, he's a great family man too, who avenges the death of his brother. He's bold and he never hesitates to take risks. He's a very humble person. He has self-discipline and self-control. And he's a remarkable decision maker with high levels of intelligence. What would I do if I were Vihan Singh? Actually, in this movie, Vihan had two choices. Number one, stay close to his family and take up a desk job without being on field. Number two, risk your life, go fight the Pakistanis. And we can't give any credibility to your life. It's on your own risk, but help the Indian army. He chose choice number two because he wanted to help the Indian army, despite the fact that there were a lot of risks involved. And why did I have such wild horse imagination? I particularly found this film interesting because this film perfectly depicted whatever happened. Perfectly depicted, though some characters were fictitious, they perfectly depicted what might have actually happened, and it leads a lot of imagination to do that. That's why this film caught my imagination, and I made up my mind to include this particular film. And talking about Indian soldiers and army is something I really love to do, as you all know, and that's how this film has impacted my life as well. Now, how could it impact the future generation? Now, a lot of youngsters think that entering the Indian army is risky and they won't get proper materialistic benefits. But this film could change the mindset of youngsters to be selfless and work without any expectations. This film could induce youngsters to develop values, ethics, and professionalism. And this film glorifies India and shows the true values of Indian military system. This film is a must-watch for patriotic people, and it teaches human values to youngsters, and it also proves that India will always fight against injustice. Now, last film, but not the least, this film is one of the greatest films ever produced. It's called Lawrence of Arabia, and this film was released in the year 1962, but still this film is better than most of the films today. It's an epic historical drama, and it's a must watch for people who haven't watched it. It's around 4 hours, but still this movie is worth that time. Just look at the achievements of this movie. Just look at the number of Oscar wins this film has got and number of nominees this film has got. Best picture, best original score, best director, best cinematography, best film editing, best production design, best sound mixing, best actor. This film is truly a masterpiece, and it was shot in 1962, where they did not have as much technical equipments as they do now. This film revolves around the life of British Colonel T.E. Lawrence, but he wasn't like the mean English people. He was like a true gentleman who helped the Arabs in World War I without racially discriminating them. I watched this film when I was too young, and I found this film really interesting, despite the fact that it was 4 hours long. And Lawrence, despite being English, he loves the Asian culture and he unites various Arabian, tribes. He's a true leader. Lawrence, if you want to learn leadership from someone, learn it from Lawrence, because the Arabs, despite being from another country and belonging to another culture, they admire Lawrence and they consider him as their father figure. Lawrence leads the Arabs against the barbaric Turks and Germans. So Turkish people and the German soldiers were in an alliance and they were constantly harassing the Arabs. So Lawrence defied the orders of his higher officials and he went to selflessly help the Arabs. That's why he's considered a father figure among Arabs. And this film is one of the greatest films produced on this planet. And this film was ranked the #1 biopic of all time. And this film beautifully depicts the First World War. You could see the ratings here, and I've given it a 9.95 because of the cinematography. This film has the best cinematography. And let's go to the second section, psychological perspective and important message. The protagonist doesn't agree upon the fact of white supremacy. He believes that all humans are equal, irrespective of what skin color they have. Hence, he's broad minded and he can think across various perspectives. And there is a particular scene where Lawrence, he takes off his British uniform and he wears Arabian robes. This shows his respect towards the Arabic culture. Lawrence overcame his bad memories. What therapy does it remind you of? Yes, it's the lost key method. He was once captured and tortured in Arabia by the Turkish soldiers, but still he overcame his bad memories. He disobeyed his higher officials who tried to forcefully capture Arabia. This shows that he isn't scared of anyone. His public opinion was badly affected. The English citizens started hating him, but he still didn't care. He unites various tribes in the land. He's an outstanding leader and he's a man of values. He always respects people from different races. The therapy associated with this movie, as I mentioned, is Lost Key Method. The CRS 2.0 features implied are leadership and human values. An important message is be a strong leader. Don't care about what people say about you. Don't be scared of your higher officials if they're going on a wrong path, and condemn them if they're going on a wrong path. Influence people in a positive way. Section 3, my favorite character, which is Thomas Edward Lawrence. He's a man of respect and values. He's an unparalleled leader. He's ruthless before his enemies and he's kind before his friends. He's broad-minded. He's an exceptional military strategist. He's filled with military skills. He's loyal. He never revealed any fact despite being tortured. He isn't scared of biased authority. He respects all religions. He was hated by the British citizens for helping the Arabs, but still he did not care. Learning objectives. If I were T. Lawrence, I would have definitely helped the tribes and united them, because I would have also fallen in love with the Arab culture and the Asian culture, because considering the way British treated the Asians, they deserve to help the Asians. So that's why I would have helped the Arabs. And this particular film just blows my mind, considering the amount of impact it has had, despite being produced in 1962. It's way before all that, and despite all that, the cinematography is on point. And this film has greatly impacted my life. That's for sure. And this film will encourage more people to direct epic historical drama, and this film could lead to cultural changes. This film could lead to the biased, this film could change the biased thought that only Western culture is superior than the Asian culture. This could change all that, and it'll encourage youngsters to watch classics and antique movies, and it proves that old is gold. So thank you everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, sir. Thank you.
One of the best presentations you have ever made, Darshan. Siddharth, fabulous work.
Thank you so much.
Awesome job, Dakshin.
Very well done,
Very well
Dakshinana.
done, Dakshinana. It was very nice.
Thank you,
presentation,
everyone.
It was
Thank you so
fabulous.
much, friends. Thank you, Ashwat.
All right, quickly,
Great.
without taking questions, Mitra. First, go.
Dakshina, it was a wonderful presentation. The involvement of the criteria from CRS 2.0 and features related to CRS 2.0 was really amazing. And I would like to appreciate your creativity. My question is, in each slide, for each movie, you mentioned about the ratings. The ratings from Google users, and last night by me, for all the movies we have rated around 9.9. Why do you think, is there any reason behind that 0.1% that has got missed out in the rating now? Even the Google users, IMDb, they have given about 9.5 or even 9 or 8.5. Why do you prefer giving 9.9 and why did you miss that 0.1% of rating now?
So first of all, thank you, Mitra. I'm very glad that you liked the presentation. And the reason why I gave 9.9 is I do not want to give a 10 because that would seem like I'm too much biased. I didn't want to give less than 9.5 because I really loved all those movies. So you can say that I'm a bit biased towards this movie and at the same time not too much biased because these movies have impacted my life. So I did not want this because no film is too much perfect to deserve a 10 out of 10 rating. So I don't have any right to give full ratings to any movie. But considering the impact that these movies have made on my life, I think 9.9 is a good score. But honestly, I would say 9.9 is like no one would give 9.9 for any particular movie, no matter how good it is. Even if a film has won 10 to 20 Oscars, no one would give 9.9. But I have given it. Like it's just a sort of a personal opinion.
Right. Kapita.
Thank you, sir. That was a very good presentation, Dakshina, and we really enjoyed it. My question is based on the third movie, now, that is Uri the Surgical Strike. Now, it is one of my favorite movie, and Vicky Kaushal made it more interesting now. So, if you were present as the frontliner in the real surgical strike now, the teammate of yours aren't more interested on the strike now. What kind of psychological trainings would you have given to those soldiers now?
Yes, Kripa, that's a very good question. So in this particular movie, there's one particular scene where Vicky Kaushal screams like, how's the Josh?" And all the soldiers reply, "Hi, sir." And then when the voice wasn't loud enough, he again shouts more, expecting a greater response. So that's how a true leader should be. He must motivate his companions. He must motivate his teammates, and he must make them focus on the particular task which they are doing. And that's what Vicky Kaushal does. I would have done something similar because I would have motivated uh, the people around me so that they don't feel any pressure. And I would have if I had known Mani Kandan Sundaresan sir, I would have probably given his contact number to them, or I would have talked to sir about how to handle these soldiers. And this is what I would have done. And at the same time, I would have tried to be a great leader because I'm the person who's leading them, so I'm responsible for all their lives. That's what it is. I have to make sure that each and every person in my team returns unharmed. So to do all that, I since I'm a candidate of MS evening sessions, by that time, like when I was 25 or 26, I'm sure I would have developed a lot of leadership skill, and I would have definitely, I'm confident that I would have brought the best out of my companions.
Nice answer, now.
Udeshi, Brinda, and then Asatam.
Okay, sir. So, Anna, that was really a wonderful presentation. Now, your movie choice was really nice. Now, so my question is, since you said about the insight of watching movies, now, if a particular person wants some motivation, now, if someone suggested him to see this movie, if one time if he sees this movie, he will, if he got inspired, he will take that movie like, I want to see like this movie lot. Now, and when that time, the person will be addicted to watch movies now, and there are some people will advise that watching too much of movies is not good now, since he was watching good movies now, but one day at least he will watch two or three movies related to motivation and now. So while that person is started addicting to movie now, what advice you will give now?
Good question, Brinda. Thank you. I'm glad that you like the presentation. Like we have a saying in Tamil which says that if it exceeds the limit, then even nectar is poisonous. So I don't want to say it in Tamil because sir will get angry. Like similar to that, we must not get addicted to something despite the fact that how motivating or how inspirational it is, because we all know that everything has to be in an order, everything has to be curtailed and in a limit. So if a person is watching too much of movies, I would definitely condemn him, because watching too much of movies will definitely create a sort of situation where he isn't able to concentrate on other parts of his work. If he allocates around 2 to 3 hours in the evening after completing all his academic works, then it's perfectly fine. Watching one movie every 2 or 3 days, it's definitely good. But watching 2 or 3 movies every day, it won't be good, and he'll be addicted to it, and he'll be only focused on the films, and he won't be able to do anything. I have experienced it. I used to watch a lot of like web series and movies like 2 to 3 years back, and when I used to do that, I tell you that I cannot focus on the other things, the important things which need to be done. So reliving these particular experiences are very important, and I would definitely share this experience to that person, and I'll advise him to not watch too much movies, despite the genre, despite the nature, however positive it may be. We have to curtail ourselves and restrict ourselves, and I could even suggest some therapies on to that person, like synaptic pruning, to keep control over himself, like the therapy synaptic pruning which sir explained to us.
All right, that's a good that's a good question and a good answer. Last, but by no means the least, Aswathama.
Thank you, sir. So, Dakshinana, first of all, it was a very good presentation, na. Anna, my question is towards the first movie, na, which is the Interstellar, na, and wha- and you mentioned that you like to be Cooper in that movie, na, and Anna, if except Cooper, who would you like to be in the movie if Cooper was not there?
If Cooper was not there, okay. Let me tell you one thing. If Cooper was not there, then all the lead characters will be played by like females. But even then, I don't mind. Like Anne Hathaway played a particular role, and I don't exactly remember the name because it's been long time since I saw the movie. But I would play that particular role because that's the only lead character that you could get in that movie. There are not too much lead characters. Murph is a good character, of course. She develops an equation to save the world, but that's not a lead character. Lead characters are only two: Joe Cooper and another character. I don't exactly remember the name, but it was played by Anne Hathaway. So I would have definitely played that role. It's actually Anne Hathaway plays the role of a coordinator who supports Joe Cooper. So Joe Cooper gets a lot of help from Anne Hathaway, and they are colleagues, and they go to the mission together. And Anne Hathaway initially had even more knowledge about the mission than Joe Cooper. So I would have played that particular role.
Okay.
Okay, last question, Sibiadika.
Anna, what inspired you to take this topic now?
Which topics be like I don't get your question.
He's asking about the choice of the movies.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So, Sibi, let me come one by one. I actually wanted to present films based on different genres, and it's been a long time since I stopped watching much movies. And so I had to go back in my memory and recollect some of the movies which I'd watched in the past. And the first name which stuck up my mind was definitely Interstellar, because I really love science fiction, and that's why I bought this particular film, because it has a lot of messages that could be conveyed to youngsters. And when Google Play wants to include the lessons in this movie, and when famous organizations say that you have to include these particular lessons to teach to the youngsters, then it definitely exhibits the important values that the movie portrays and exhibits. So definitely that's one of the reasons why I brought in Interstellar. The second film was I wanted a unique film which is different from all other films. It's not at all related to what we usually see, and that film was Joker, because it's a classical movie, an artistic movie, and artists will love that movie really. And it showed the true class of acting, and Joaquin Phoenix brought that. So that's why I chose Joker, and it won the Oscar in a very difficult category. That's another reason. The third one, I wanted to bring out an Indian film which arouses patriotism in us, and the film which I found the most suitable was Uri the Surgical Strike. That's why I bought that film, and I wanted one particular movie which is very ancient and at the same time a blockbuster. And there's no other film that could be better for this job other than Lawrence of Arabia, and it has won various Oscars, around 8 to 9 Oscars in 1963. And despite
Okay, that's
being, yes, sir.
You're repeating yourself.
I'm
It's
sorry, sir.
okay. You're actually repeating yourself for answering Sibi's question, so it's not needed.
Yes, sir.
It's okay.
Okay.
But I would like to speak something about your presentation. As I was mentioning in the chat, you have taken even the informal round of MS evening sessions activity called as Fly Over Your Fantasies to a whole new level. That is, you have taken into on a serious basis. I really appreciate that. More specifically, what I really admire is, as Mitra mentioned, the connectivity that you brought along with the CRS system and the therapies that you had connected with the movies. I'm so glad to see an Oscar-winning movie representing my discovered therapy and a 1960 movie representing synaptic pruning and lost key method and all that. So that last section of the PPT holds a lot of meaning, connectivity with the therapies, connectivity with the CRS, and the major learning out of it. So you would get a specific, yes, I had instructed the people that people will not be getting a bonus for their PPT presentation. But here, for involving this angle and this descriptive method of explaining things by relating properly with the MS evening sessions, you will get a specific bonus for that.
Very well done, Dakshinanna.
Thank you so much.
Very well
Thank
done,
you.
Darshan.
Very well done,
Thank
Dakshina.
you.
Very well
Well
done,
done,
Dakshinanna.
Thank you, Brinda. Thank you, Kalpita.
Alright, so Dakshin Siddharth finishes his
Very well
proceedings. 46 minutes is the total span. He wanted to make the presentation for 30 minutes, but he finished the presentation in 35 minutes, and the question and answers were about 9 minutes. As far as Sibiayatan's question is concerned, he kept on repeating his own self, so that is why I had to cut it short. Plus, I had to give an appreciation for his presentation. We are seriously running short of time. That is why. Good job, Dakshin. Very nice presentation. One of your best.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It means a lot, sir. I just
I have a
wanted to
lot.
make sure that the. Yes, sir.
No, you go ahead.
Yes, sir. I wanted to make sure that the movies are good enough to like filtered and good enough so that it could represent MS evening session. So that's why I brought only the best handpicked movies, sir.
Thank you. I was feeling very proud to have MS evening sessions, ingredients, and ideals being attached with the movie. So only a good movie analyst like Karan Thapar or Ashish Govekar or Siddharth Basu or Simi Gravel, only these people will be able to do such thing. It is making an analysis of a movie and coming up with a wonderful insight of learning. You specifically did that with these 4 movies. Good job.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right, so a wonderful insightful presentation by Dakshin Siddharth. And now we will see what set of movies did Mridubhashni inculcate. It's your presentation, Mridubhashni.
Okay, sir. So, good evening, sir and friends. So, I have chosen 2 Tamil movies since I don't watch English movie or Hindi movie. So, first movie is about Peranmai, and the second movie is Bhumi. And the first movie why I chosen Peranmai is they mentioned about the willpower in women. So, I loved that movie very much since it is about women, and it is the idea given by it is the idea is given by my mother since I don't have any idea for choosing other movies because 2.0 is my choice, but Guru Prasna has presented already, so I thought of choosing another movies, but I didn't get any idea. So I asked my mother, and she told this, and I didn't get that idea, and I love this movie very much. So I in why if I were in the position of hero or heroine or any other character, I'll choose the character of the girls who is insulting the hero because if I were in the position, I won't do that mistake because he is the trainer who is training the camp people. We have to give respect to the person who is in a higher authority, and we have to respect the position he has. So the learning out of this movie is women can do whatever they want if they have self belief and self confidence in them. And the second movie is about Bhumi. I like this movie very much because it is about agriculture, and I love planting plants and maintaining plants. So in that movie, if I were in the character of Velusamy here, who committed suicide for not getting proper fund from agriculture for government for maintaining agriculture plants. If I were in the position of Velusamy, I won't commit a suicide. Instead of committing suicide, I would use Bhuminathan for researching about the soil and about the plant for soil's fertility to how can we improve the fertility and all. So through that, easily I can solve the problem that I had in the field. And the learning I had is we should respect our country as well as and we agriculture. We should not discriminate agricultural and we should not discriminate farmers. Basically, we have to support agriculture. And I started plant after watching this movie, I adamantly bought two plants for planting in my home. And it is and I have maintained it properly, and now it is grown into a small plant, and now it is getting started to give fruits and all. Thank you, sir. Thank you, friends.
Right. Any questions? Hi, Vishnu Priya.
Yes, sir. Mriduka, it was a very nice presentation, Ka. So my question to you is, in the second film that you spoke about, Bhumika, you said the person went to commit suicide, Ka. So do you suggest any therapy? Will you be suggesting any therapy to him, Ka? If yes, what therapy, Ka, and why?
Okay, Priya. Thank you so much, Priya. It was a very nice question. So I would suggest it. He did not have self-confidence in himself for facing the problem. I'll suggest subliminal therapy. He can continuously hear if he hears the voice that he can definitely overcome his problem. It will help him a lot. So that will be my answer for this question, Priya.
Nice answer, Ka.
Actions to that.
Thank you, sir. So it was a good presentation, Bashni. And my question to you is, you mentioned that you like agriculture very much. Is there a specific reason why you like agriculture so much? Is there a specific reason?
Dakshin, I don't have any specific reason. From my childhood itself, I love science and especially I love biology subject. So through that only I got interested in planting some saplings or seeds and all.
Kalpita.
Thank you, sir. That was a very good presentation, Madhubhashnaka. So, in our society, we don't have a neutral face of respect for the farmers. Like, in one stage, we respect them a lot, and the other stage, we completely forget about them. And when a few particular movies or a few messages in social medias are spreading very fastly, we remember that. If those are not, especially the movies are not being directed upon farmers and farming, a lot of people forget about them. Why do we think that we do not have the same feeling on farmers in all the phases of our life? Because of we are not thinking of agriculture is main thing in our life. We are thinking that our work and our job is very big than agriculture. Kalpita. Okay, nice answer.
Okay, Mriduvashni, good choice. Good choice of movies and very good handling of questions. I really appreciate your choice.
Very well done, Ms.
Thank you,
Rashmika.
sir.
Very
Very
well
well
done,
done,
Bashnyaka.
Madhusumitra.
Well done,
Very well done,
Bashni.
Bashni.
Thank you, friends.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Vrinda.
Sir, my voice is audible, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I'm extremely sorry for what happened today, sir. I was about to, sir. Sir, after I was said good morning, sir, good evening, sir, and friends, sir. I don't know, sir, whether you called or not, sir. But if you called, if I didn't reply, means I'm sorry, sir, because that time I have some connectivity issues, sir.
Yeah, I was able to understand. I was able to understand because otherwise you will immediately respond. But today, when you didn't respond, I was able to understand. No problem. I understand.
Sorry, sir. I'm extremely sorry, sir. I don't know even you called me or not, sir.
I did call you. I called you, but you were not able to grasp. No problem. No problem. Now I am calling you for making the presentation. Come on, start.
Thank you, sir. So, good evening, one and all present here. So, I am going to make a presentation on my favorite movies. So, actually, seeing movie is I will not very much into seeing movies from my childhood because actually I will be seeing only limited amount of movies in my childhood and also now. So, in that I have specific movies. I have lessons. I have take a message from it. So, I think that I hope these movies will give a message also. These three movies are very the three movies giving messages very different. Each movies are not connected to each other. So my first movie is Titanic because this movie is always special to me because this movie I saw in 2016 when for Pongal my relatives are coming to my home. So that time we decided and we actually saw this movie, so that this movie is really special to me. So, and if I would be a character of this movie, means I will take the character of the captain of the ship, because first half of the movie, it is for me. I felt like it's like a Tamil movie. While I'm seeing, I felt like it's seeing a Tamil movie for first half of the second movie. When the ship started sinking, only I was very much into the movie, and I was very much interested to watch the movie. So if I would be the captain, I think I would check something, because in between, according to the movie, as all know, this movie is a true mixed imagination. So if I would be the captain of the movie, I would check, because in particular scene they will be saying about the lifeboats, only a small lifeboat. If I would be the captain, or if I would be the in charge of the ship, I will be checking everything, and I will not let it. I will be not be overconfident that this ship will not sink. So I will not like that, and I will check it everything, because as a captain I will do my work properly. And the second one is learning objective of this second. The third one is why I had this wide imagination. So when this particular movie, while the ship sinking in the water, so that time I'm not into the movie. I was thinking about the real incident, what the people will do, or how the people will suffer in that 1912 when the ship sink in the ship. Because I was very much into the movie, that what they will do, they will suffering, and a lot of the people will they will be suffering a lot, and they will be into the do death, and how they will face that, how they will even sinking the ship, they will face a lot. And I would able to, that made that particular scene, and that particular scene actually made me to feel this. So that only that movie become special to me, that seeing with my relatives, I actually, it's like that particular scene actually made me to think in a wide perspective. And after that, I even searched about the ship called Titanic. So I think that made me to search about it. And the next one is learning the impact ratio on my life. So this, after long time, after seeing this movie after a long time, actually I see this movie again. So that time, this movie as doesn't like first time, it doesn't affect me like I'm into the movie. So but I have lot of thing which we can learn from this movie. So coming to learning objectives, this movie, like, we should not be overconfident. Even we are, if we overconfident, we miss something, that is carelessness. So according to this movie, actually most of them said that like this ship will not be sinking, because it has that much capacity, because it is made in iron. So they told like everyone, so bit of carelessness will make a huge mistake, and that leads to a very big suffering of many people. So we have to be as much as possible. I think for us, we have to be very careful in whatever work we do and whatever thing we do. So I took that movie in this perspective, and I learned the lesson. I took the lesson from this movie like this, like whatever we do, we should be very careful in it. And if we miss one thing, that might issue a big problem. And second movie is Bucket List. Actually, this is 2018 Marathi film. So this movie, I saw this movie in alone in my phone. So while I'm seeing this movie is all about how the goal is very important. Coming to the story of the movie, the particular character, there is no hero or heroine in this movie. The particular character, Madhura, the middle age lady. So actually, she was got transferred his art from a small 20 years girl. So after transferring the heart. Actually, she met her father and she collected his journal diary. In that, she actually put a bucket list and some goals she want to achieve in her life. So she took that and she made her own. She made that within a span of this time. I have to complete this goal and whatever she wishes. So actually, this. Actually, in that movie, it will be mentioned like the goals are not what we write. Actually, it's purpose of our life. So that was the lesson I learned from this movie. So while I'm seeing the movie, it actually was a little bit comedy and with drama. So this particular movie, actually in this bucket list, she have a lot of goal: singing, dancing, whatever. She had a lot of goal, and even seeing movie, riding bike. There will be a lot of role which that lady cannot do it, but she that time actually she thinks that the goal is so important. When that girl sacrificed the life without unfinished desires, so we have to fill that desires because that girl helped us a lot. So see, she think it in a perspective, and after doing everything, then only she started realizing that the goals is so important to her life. So as I was there actually nowadays when after coming to MS swimming session, I started realizing about the goals and I started fixing the goal. So while I'm seeing this, while I'm seeing this movie, I'm not into the MS swimming session, but that movie actually made me to think about the goal and about the bucket list, because each and every person have their own goal time. It might be short time goal, it might be long time goal, but each and every person have their own goal in their mind. So this movie actually impact me a lot in my life regarding goals and many things. This story is actually the screenplay will be like somewhat in between. They will put some comedy, and this movie is not too much hit, but while I'm watching this movie, it actually gave me different feeling because this is a very different movie which I saw, and this movie I saw in Marathi with subtitles. So that only I think it made me somewhat special to see this movie. And my third movie is actually it's a pure Tamil word, so I have to translate in this in English, that is morality. So this movie is all about a child who is falling in a deep bore well. So this movie is about that, and this movie actually personally when I watch, actually this was very interesting movie. This lead role was Madhivadani. Actually, she was a district collector. This movie actually, while I'm watching this movie, it was bit interesting, and while going the screenplay made it very like. So I want to play a role in this movie. The before movie I didn't say a role because I just watched this movie in like audience perspective, and this movie was bit interesting. So that but I don't like to while I'm seeing this movie, I was not into the character that bucket list. But this movie, I want to play a role of district collector because that district collector, she took a lot of steps to you know take the child out of the borewell, but the practice are going, and but the child was just going under and under, not even the child was coming up a little response, and also the oxygen, she oxygen, so she gave that also, she took the life. So if I was there in her position, sure I will take immediate response. So this immediate response. So in this movie, not only it's about the child falling in a deep borewell, they showed another social message too. So next, this impact ratio on my life after this movie was when released, I saw this movie in theater. So after 2 years or so, while I was watching this movie, while I was while Diwali, while I was going to my aunt's home, actually there is a news actually that Sujit was fell into the. So that time I. My mind actually thought about only this movie, because before that also in India a lot of incident happened like this to the child in 2011, 2012, 2013, but I was not aware of it. But this news is actually very new to me, that I was seeing very live. So that time I thought about this movie. So our government have took lot of effort to bring that child out, but they wouldn't able to success. But in that movie they showed like it's success. Actually they actually brought the child up. The learning impact, the learning thing actually in this movie is actually in this movie they told that in one part of our country they are actually they are making rockets, and they are actually sending it to the planets and the satellites. They are all are doing, and but in another part of our country there are actually a lot of people who suffering from water. So actually, I think this wide imagination, when I have this wide imagination, is the screenplay only taught me, like the screenplay was going very uh, cleanly and clearly. So that made me like that actually it is like into the reality when they say the land was really dry, the people were suffering from water. So in other part of a country there are some people who are actually suffering from water. That time no politician will come and about the water, but they will be correct in collecting tax and so on. So that was in one part of a country is like this. There are another part of a country, the lot of people who are suffering from water. So that time no politician, no educated even it's educated or uneducated politicians, they won't take any steps. But the media take out some small incident. So this particular borewell incident, actually that in that movie they actually, due to the media, actually it was got very popular. And the news also was going throughout the Tamil Nadu according to that movie. So that time actually how the media actually reacting to each and every particular news. So because if we put a small thing in media, how it is published. So that like only this movie actually made a wide imagination. The lesson from this movie is taking risk, because at last the the district collector will take the risk of taking another child and bringing, so that will be two different I don't know it's possible in real life or not, but actually at last she used to take a risk. What do or die, whatever do or die concept, it will like she will take a risk, something which is important to save that child. As sir mentioned in MS evening session while we are playing cricket, sir mentioned that even it's last over, you have to take some the risk to, to save your team. So that like she actually took a risk in very last position and she actually succeed. So in this movie, the what I learned was taking risk is not even in very big situation where we are facing a very big law. Taking risk is very important, because when we take risk only we know how we are in. So taking risk and some social message from that movie I got about that incident. So that was I learned from this movie. Thank you guys. Thank you friends for listening to my presentation.
Well done, Brinda.
Very well
Well
done,
done,
Brinda.
Brinda.
Very well, Sudha.
Very well done, Akka.
Thank you everyone.
Questions? Balaji, Dakshin, Siddharth. Yeah, Balaji.
So, Brinda, that was a nice presentation. So, my question towards you is the first movie, Titanic. If we, if you were in the film, if you are inside the film, what role you will play, and and why you choose that role, and how will we be able to help others in that role?
Anna, thank you so much for liking my presentation. Now, so actually, I said in my presentation I would like to play the role of captain. Now, so that was, I think, that would be the best role where I can play to serve the ship now, because I don't know in true incident it is impossible, but at least as per the movie I can do as a captain now.
Okay, so Siddharth.
Thank you, sir. Brinda, first of all, it was a really nice presentation. And my question to you is, in the last film which you mentioned, if you played the lead role, would you have taken the risk at the most crucial time? Like, imagine that you are playing that particular role. Would you have taken the risk, or would you have chosen the safer side?
Anna, according to me, now it's very important to save the child. Now, so I will be taking the risk, and how much ever possible, I will consult with the government, and whatever way now it might be very difficult or it might be with smarter way. Now, I would take the risk at the point of view, because it's important for us to take risk at that point of view now.
Right.
Okay, Brinda.
Okay. Vishnupriya.
Yes, sir. So, Brinda, it was a very nice presentation, Brinda. So, my question is about the second movie. So, you said you also got interest upon having goals. So, have you ever made a list of your goals, and have you ever started practicing and working on your goals?
Vishnupriya, that was really nice question. So, um, while after seeing that movie, I thought about my goal, but I didn't implement it. But if you ask if I made a goal like bucket list, yes. As sir given me a supplemental presentation, I actually write my goal. Actually, I have 10 to 12 goals in me. So, and I'm practicing it now. So that will help me in my future too. So that was I am taking step like a goal.
Nice answer, Brinda.
Mitra.
Thank you, Priya.
Vrindaka, it was a very nice presentation. Your three choices was really good. Akka, it's a hypothetical question. And this question is towards your first movie, Titanic. So you have at that time, in that span, during that year, you got to know about this incident that happened about the Titanic ship which sank. And actually, in the real incident, there was another ship that was approaching towards Titanic, ship California. But as it was not very efficient in speed, it wasn't able to approach that much fast. Although you heard this news, you were really careless. So now you are playing the role of the captain of ship California. So now you are seeing these icebergs in front of your ship. So being the captain of ship California, you had been really careless of not carrying that much sufficient lifeboats. How would you tackle that situation being because you were very careless? How would you tackle that particular situation being a captain of the ship?
Okay, Mitra, that was really nice question. If I there in that particular ship, actually as a captain, so when the ship come very closer to iceberg, so I would feel that it's more than safety of the people. First, I will uh, even the ship actually dashes on the iceberg or not, I will make the people to be very safe. Then I will take all the measure with my crew numbers, which is assistant captain the the ship, the person who are actually helping me in that particular situation. I will gather it and I will actually find some route and I will actually take a look at this ocean or sea, the wherever I am traveling. So I will actually take a look, and how much ever possible I used to turn the boat, turn the ship, Mitra, because it's very important. Actually, if we dash it, it might actually cause as the ship sank into the sea, it sank into the ocean. Like that, it is possible for this ship also. So how much ever possible, if I can, I will usually turn the ship, Mitra.
Okay, thank you.
Kalpita.
Thank you, sir. That was a very good presentation, Brinda. So my question is regarding the third movie. Uh, we have a lot of incidents that have happened, and most of the cases, all the efforts have been in vain, and we were not able to save all those persons. Why do you think this is happening at the most case? What could be the possible reasons? Is that because people think their job is more important than the life, or they would like to stay in the safer positions? Or if you have any choice on your personal opinion that you can share with us.
I think most of the time it's happening is because of water scarcity. So I think as I actually observed this movie, this kind of scarcity is happening in most of the places in our country. So if someone or some politician took step in it, I think it's not about life or it's not about job. Actually, if they took some step in it, I think we can solve most of the problem happening in our country. And also we have to take care of our children, not going beyond the limit. If they actually flow, so it's according to the parents also keep their children safe. So that's my answer, Kalpita.
Nice answer, Brinda.
All right, good job, Brinda. Very nice presentation. You have consumed almost about 19 minutes. But a serious concern is you are using the word actually very frequently. That is a very dangerous thing. We call that as a fetish words. In communication principle, that is a very dangerous habit. It means you are blank in mind and you are not able to think properly. Fetish words, actually, usually, and basically, all these are fetish words. you have used more than 200 times in this 20 minutes of your presentation. So you are in a very serious position of cutting down the number of times you are using. I'm not asking you to do it immediately, but you will have to reduce the number of times you are using it. Think about it.
Okay, sir. I will sure take a step about it, sir.
But the three movies that you have mentioned were real good choice. I'm happy that you have watched a Marathi movie with subtitles put on, and I really appreciate that wide quest for knowledge, and I really appreciate it. Good
Very
choice.
well done, Ka. Great choice, Ka.
பேசி முடிக்கிறது.
Very well done, Akka.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Mitra. Thank you, Ashwathaman.
Right, well done. So we still have Balaji, Vishnupriya and Aswathaman. I'm afraid I might not be giving the chance to Sibi one more time because we are seriously running short of time. We have only 13 minutes left in the session today. So we will have Balaji's presentation. It's been a long time since he has made presentation. He's been absent for almost about 20 days. And after 20 days, he has rejoined. So we will listen to his presentation. Pantana. What were all the movies, Balaji, you mentioned?
Sir, Pixel, sir, Prison Escape, sir.
Yeah. Fine. Sorry about that. Okay. Aswathaman, you will be next.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, you can see my screen, sir?
Yes, I am able to see.
Okay, sir. So, warm greetings one and all present here. My name is Ashwathaman and I'll say some of my favorite movies for the activity of fly over your fantasies. So, the first movie I've taken is The Karate Kid, and the actors are Jackie Chan as Mr. Han and Jaden Smith as G. Parker. And this movie is about how this
Change
child.
the slide.
Sir?
Change the. Have you changed the slide?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Am I the only one who is still seeing the first slide?
No, sir, even me, sir.
No, sir. We are also seeing the first slide.
We see you
Change it to the
slide, sir.
Yeah, change it to the slideshow mode and operate on the screen. Everybody is seeing only the first slide with the camera image. Slideshow mode.
So now,
Not slideshow na ennu theriyadha unakku?
Sir, I just turn on slideshow mode, sir.
No, we are all seeing in the layout, not slideshow mode.
Okay, sir. So one second, sir. Sir, now, sir. So now, sir.
Yeah. Now it's okay. Wait, one second. Aswathaman, one second, wait. Vishnupriya, what is this new timing?
Sir, every time I would leave at 6:55, sir, because now only after a long time I'm having physics tuition now, sir. After you came, it's 5 to 7, sir.
அதை சொல்லணும்ல நீ வாட்டுக்கு சௌரியத்துக்கு இப்போ வந்து சொல்ற கடைசி நிமிஷத்துல. Why didn't you inform me in advance that you are? When is it starting?
6:55, sir.
Why didn't you inform prior? Such a bloody hell response and attitude. If you had informed prior, I would have preponed your presentation, wouldn't I? என்ன எத்தனை தடவை சொன்னாலும் உங்களுக்கு தான் மூளையே வராது. இன்னும் மூவி தியேட்டர்ல பாப்கார்ன் சாப்பிட்டு இப்போ கிளம்பணும்னு சொல்ற மாதிரி சொல்ற அறிவு கெடுத்தனமா? முன்னாடி சொல்ல வேண்டாமா? சொல்லியிருந்தா உன் பிரசன்டேஷன் இப்போ நம்ம அட்வான்ஸ் பண்ணிருப்பேன்ல. உனக்கும் இப்படித்தான், உங்க அண்ணனுக்கும் இப்படித்தான். ரெண்டு பேரும் கிறுக்குத்தனமா தான் பண்ணுவீங்க. தேவையான நேரத்துல வந்துட்டு முக்கியமான இன்ஃபர்மேஷனை ஒழுங்கா சொல்லலாம். Bunch of idiots. Why didn't you tell me before? I would have preponed the presentation. Instead of Brinda, I would have asked you to presentation if you are leaving at 6:45. Why didn't you tell me?
Sorry, sir.
Keep your sorry on your head. சரி கிளம்பு டியூஷனுக்கு. Asuthaman, start.
Okay, sir. So this movie is about how a child struggles to overcome his bullies. So I like to say the learnings first. The learnings are never judge a book by its cover. Uh, he looks a bit skinny and he doesn't have much talents. And but at last he could he could defeat his biggest bully in a championship and earn his trophy by his hands. And next is running away is not going to solve the problem. He was always afraid and he always runs away from his bullies. And but it but it's not always the problem. And now once when he wanted to face it, he became more stronger. So next is everything is hard unless you do it wholeheartedly. So scene where Parker regrets learning karate from Mr. Han because of because that because he was saying to do the same thing, and which was one of his bad habits. And next is life will knock you down but you'll have to get up. His bullies and many people, even a place where he wanted to learn karate, did not let him participate in it or teach it. And but he never lost hope. So someone, Jackie Chan, who is Mr. Han, finally showed up to teach him. And why I had a wild horse imagination is this was a very interesting story. And this was one of the stories and the movies that I have seen in my childhood. And this has a very good concept, and so I liked it very much. So what will I do if I am the hero or heroine? So it's a scene where he regrets learning from Mr. Han. What I do that time is I'll I'll see why he's telling me to do that, and I'll not regret him. And I'll always go learning with him every day. So the next movie is Mulan, 2021. These actors are Liu Yifei, acted as Mulan, and Yu Sung
Asuthaman,
Ha. Yes, sir.
keep the mic a little away from your mouth. I have told you several times. Make sure that it is good enough and close enough to emit your voice properly to the ears of the listeners, and it is distanced enough not to gather the buzz sound from your mouth. It is so irritating for the people who have put on their earpieces. உங்ககிட்ட நான் இது 7,000 தடவை சொல்லியாச்சு.
Okay, sir. Sorry,
Continue.
sir. Not repeated, sir. So the learnings are never judge anyone by their gender. So here Mulan was an female, and everybody says that a female should not learn or learn learn arts or do anything but just to cook and take care of their family. But here this movie proves that even a girl can be better than a boy, and fear is our number one enemy. So this girl was not afraid that she was a woman, and if they ever discovered that she was a woman, she would it would be they will discriminate her and reject her from the army, and it will be a big disappointment for their family. And family is also important. She took this choice to become a warrior because to honor his dad. Her big enemy will be coming soon, and his father was struggling because he was old. So she want to honor him, and she took this choice. So you'll always have to fight for your rights, and no one will. So even she was rejected from the army, she by own came up, and with all her courage she quarreled with the head, and she rejoined the army. And always make your job feel honorable. And whenever family comes or anyone who love you comes, at the same time we should also honor our job and should not let it down, and don't let anyone judge you. Many people had judged Mulan, but she never listened to them and she took the right path. So why I had a wild horse imagination on this movie is because uh, these kind of movies say that not not only boys are the best, girls are also best, and we should not let them down. And next, what will I do if I'm the hero or heroine? So when the last fight scene where Mulan she fought Bori Khan, who is the villain of this series, to to save the emperor. I'll always have carried an external knife or a weapon in case of a spare. She got she almost lost to him because she had not had an external weapon. So next, Tamil movie, the VIP 1 and 2 series, and the actors are Dhanush as Raghuram and Amul Pal as Shalini. And the learnings are how work is valuable than money. In the series 2, the villain, what villain did is she offered to become she
Dave,
sir.
that's Amala Pal. அது இப்போ ரொம்ப முக்கியமான வாடா வாடா get on to the learnings.
Okay, sir. So it's where the villain offered him to join his to join her to make her as his leader and try to do it. And what he said was he said that money she he would he said a dialogue, and it meant that he meant that money is more hard work is more valuable than money. And next is being a leader for a middle class team rather than being a worker for more like a slavery in a rich team. So when you are in a middle class team, you can work more hard, and sometimes it can be better than money. And and you can also be a leader, but as being in a rich team, you'll always be an worker. And even though if you get more salary, but you'll be not treated very well. And never lose hope and fight until the last time. So it's one it in one sequence, the villain of the VIP2 took an project from Raghuvaran's crew. And what happened is he did not lose hope till the last time, and the project came back to his hands. So don't let anyone walk in your mind with their dirty feet. It was a statement said by Gandhiji, and many people discriminated him in the VIP one, including the villain and his father. But he did not mind it and continued his work. So never doubt yourself or lose hope with anyone's comments. So many people said that not to do this, not to do that, you can't do this, but he did not listen to them and he became a successful worker. So why I had wild horse imagination on this series is because it says that how hard work is more important, and how man struggles uh, to be one of the toppest people in the world. So what will I do if I'm the hero or heroine? So in scene one, where the Raghu's mother dies in VIP one, what I've done that I've not rejected her call and stayed with her. And scene where Vasundhara in VIP two. Vasundhara is the villain of villain of this team, and I not have talked to her, which may, a scene where when they both talk, it it made Raghuvaran feel a bit down, so I'll not talk to her at that time. So next, the fourth movie is Surarai Potru, where it was an real movie inspired by a man who struggles to become uh, want to be want to have his own aircraft, and the actors are Surya as Nedumara and Aparna Balamurali as Bhumi. So the learnings are poor it is not the sign of impossible. So in this movie, he was from a poor family who much supported farming, and but
Aswatha,
yes sir.
it's not purity, poverty.
Okay sir.
Change it. இப்படி எல்லாம் பேசிக் மிஸ்டேக் பண்ணினா நீ எல்லாம் நாளைக்கு எக்ஸாம் எப்படி எழுதுவ? ரித்தன் நிதிஷ் தான் இப்படி தப்பு எழுதி வச்சிருந்தான். டே ரித்தன், எங்கடா இருக்க நீ?
Yes, sir.
நீ உன்னோட பிபிடியில் எக்கச்சக்கமா ஸ்பெல்லிங் மிஸ்டேக் பண்ணி வச்சிருந்த, அது உனக்கு தெரியுமா?
Sir, yes, sir. In the last slide, I made 2 mistakes, sir. I realized while I was doing the presentation and I changed it after completing the presentation, sir. And after that, I didn't realize anything else, sir.
Last slide. There were 6 slides there were 4 slides that contained mistakes. Informal presentation நான் சும்மா விட்டேன். அடுத்த presentation spell check போட்டு ப்ராப்பரா பண்ணு. You understood?
Okay, sir. Sorry, sir. This will be the last time, sir.
Aswathaman, it is not purity. There is no word called as poverty. It's poverty. You understand?
Okay sir, I'll
Yeah,
change it once I completed the presentation, sir. Sorry
right,
sir.
finish.
So the next is that farmers are not sign of poverty. So it's the same. It's almost the same meaning for the first learning I said, and we should all not we should always give equal e- equal money for them, and always support farming, and nothing can be done without facing obstacles. He faced many obstacles, but he overcome it. So so he was very successful. So why I had a wild horse imagination on him on this movie is because this was an movie that happened really, and it was very interesting, especially how they took the camera, and how the sequence and how much a man faced in real life itself. So what will I do if I am the hero or heroine? The last scene where he loses his hope, but but suddenly all the farmers came in his flight. All the farmers and a new married couple came in his flight, known as Deacon Air. So what I'll have done is I'll not lose hope, and I'll fight till the last moment. So thank you sir, thank you friends, thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity. Hope you enjoyed.
I like that popcorn boy there in the picture. Good, nice.
Very well done, Ashwathaman.
Well done, Ashwathaman.
Well done, Ashwathaman.
Well done,
Well done,
Ashwathaman.
Ashwathaman.
Well done, Ashwathaman.
All right, so very good presentation by everybody. We might not be having the question session for Aswathaman. Maybe we will have it tomorrow or so, because tomorrow we have one pending presentation. Vishnupriya's presentation shall not be ignored, so she will be coming tomorrow and she will make her presentation tomorrow. Okay, so is there any clarifications or any additions towards this by you all? Because we are officially completing the Flyover Fantasies activity. Vishnupriya will get to have the presentation done tomorrow. It was her mistake. I was thinking of skipping the presentation for her. வரட்டும், ஆனா நாளைக்கு நான் கண்டினியூ பண்ணுவேனாங்கிறதுல எனக்கு எந்த விதமான consideration இல்லை. We will have to take a call on it, because tomorrow I am scheduling the basking the award glory presentation. Tomorrow you have to make the presentation on that. அது வந்து பெருசா லாங்கா போக போறது இல்லை. It's only for about 5 or 10 minutes. course.
It's going to be an oral presentation, right, sir? Or should it be in a PPT?
No, if it is a book or if it is a kind of an article that has been purchased, you have to show the article. Like Brinda has to show Origin Seth Martin book over. And if you have ordered something, I saw you ordered something this morning.
I'll share that screen.
Yeah, you'll have to share that screen. Yes, Aswatam.
Sir, instead of the fidget spinner, I have chosen a book, sir, and my mother said the book alone she'll buy tomorrow, sir, and the nunchak she shall buy after the direct session started, sir.
Let's see. Okay, right. So, yeah, any questions before we wrap up today?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
You're most welcome. And
No,
I'm very happy that you people are watching very nice set of movies only. There was a kind of a separate session I wanted to have in the end after this flyover fantasies, because I thought some people will be choosing some irrelevant movies, but most of you have chosen good movies like Aswatam and Mulan. That movie is a real nice movie. It's about the Korean interface of Defense Academy. That is a good movie. Not very fond of the second set of movies that he presented, but Yuri the Surgical Strike and Joker is a brilliant movie that Dakshin Siddharth has chosen. That's a very important psychological interface movie. And when Kalpita made a presentation, I really liked Lakshya. Lakshya, it ignited a lot of minds during that time in 2004. Hrithik Roshan just blasted away the Khan image. Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, Amir Khan image of Odachi. He became very popular. Mission Kashmir, Kahona Pyar Hai, Fizza, and this one, Lakshya. These were the four big blasting hits that he made in his beginning of career. Lakshya Pati or Vishyu also. It's not a very important one, but still I would like to make a quick snapshot. If you really would like to see Prabhudev and Hrithik Roshan's combination, அதில் மே ஆஸா கியூன்னு ஒரு பாட்டு இருக்கும். அதோடைய கோரியோகிராஃபர் வந்து பிரபுதேவா. Hrithik Roshan is I'm a great fan of Hrithik Roshan's dance and Allu Arjun's dance. Not Vijay or somebody like magical jokers, but dance, you know. So the dance எடுத்துட்டோம்னா அல்லு அர்ஜுன் வந்து அவன் அப்படியே ஃப்ளோட் ஆகும். ஓகே, ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி ரித்திக் ரோஷனுடைய டான்ஸ்ல ஒரு கரிஸ்மா இருக்கும். மே ஏசா கியூவும் வந்து தட்ஸ் பிரபுதேவாஸ் ரோபோட்டிக் டான்ஸ் மூவ்மெண்ட் அப்படிங்கிறது நல்லா இருக்கும். அந்த பாட்டு பாருங்க. And apart from all that, again, the movie choices by Guru Prasanna, Mridubhashni, Brinda specifically, Marathi movie, Mitra of course, good choice of movies. Ellarume nalla choice of Sanjay, again, Chitori, Balaji's animated film series. Ellarume nalla choice. Ritanitish is, I personally like Ungalukkaga Oruvan Tamil dubbing movie. I really like that movie. So ellarum nalla choice vechirukeenga. Make sure that you are watching only these kinds of movies that are giving proper learning system. And Dakshin, Netflix என்கிட்ட நீ எடுக்கிறேன்னு சொன்னதுக்கு அப்புறம் ஜோக்கர் வாட்ச் பண்ணியா இல்ல அதுக்கு முன்னாடி? ஏன்னா ஜோக்கர் இஸ் அவைலபிள் ஒன்லி இன் நெட்ஃபிளிக்ஸ். எப்போ வாட்ச் பண்ண?
சார் ஜோக்கர் ரிலீஸ் ஆனப்போ பார்த்தேன் சார்.
தியேட்டர்லயா?
இல்லைங்க சார், ரிலீஸ் ஆகி அந்த புதுசுல பார்த்தேங்க சார். அண்ணா கூட.
நெட்ஃபிளிக்ஸ்.
எஸ் சார்.
Not after you removed things from laptop.
Sir, no sir. Really sir.
Okay. Fine. Okay, ஒரு ஃபன் மோடுக்காக தான் இந்த ஆக்டிவிட்டி நம்ம கொண்டு வந்து. Hope you all enjoyed, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
இன்னும் 10,000 வருஷத்துக்கு படங்கள் யா இன்னும் 10,000 வருஷங்களுக்கு படங்களை பத்தி எம்எஸ்சி யூனி செஷன் நீங்க பேச முடியாது.
கல்ச்சரல் ஃபெஸ்ட்ல பேசனால சார்.
இது
கல்ச்சரல் ஃபெஸ்ட்ல பாட்டெல்லாம் பாடுறாங்க.
கல்ச்சரல் ஃபெஸ்ட்.
This is June second week da. Cultural festival June la engi vekka maatanga. Yes Sibi.
Sir, I'm not doing my presentation, sir.
You have already made the presentation about a dog movie. Marudi innoru dog movie ka presentation solrika adana?
Sir, I'm sorry. Now only sir, another movie I saw, sir. Yesterday I saw one movie. It's nice, sir. That one is dark movie.
Yes. நான் உன்னை மூவியெல்லாம் பார்க்க சொல்லவே இல்லை. எஸ்டர்டே ஐ சா ஒன் மூவின்றல அதுக்கே உன்னை உதைக்கணும். உன்னை யார் படமெல்லாம் பார்க்க சொன்னேன்? உன்னை படம் பார்க்க சொன்னேன். புக்குகளை படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நான் பைலாஸ்ல கொடுத்தா உன்னை யார் படம் பார்க்க சொன்னது? மூவி டாக் ஓவர். விஷ்ணுபிரியாவோட இதுவும் கேன்சல், உன்னோடதும் கேன்சல். 2 நாள் தான் மேக்சிமம் வந்துட்டு இந்த பிரசன்டேஷனுக்கு நான் வச்சிருந்தது. நான் ஏற்கனவே சொல்லிட்டேன். நீ ஒரு தடவை ப்ரெசென்ட் பண்ணிட்டேன். நீ ப்ரெசென்ட் பண்ணதுக்கு உனக்கு சிஆர்எஸ்ல மார்க்கும் கொடுத்தாச்சு. நீ நேற்று ஒரு படம் பார்த்தேன், இன்னைக்கு நைட் நீ காலையில் எந்திரிக்கும் போது ஒரு படம் பார்த்தேன், அதுக்கெல்லாம் நான் சொல்ல முடியாது. நாளைக்கு இருக்கிற பிரசன்டேஷனை நீ ஒழுங்கா பாரு. ஓகே?
Okay, sir.
Movie talks over. I'm sorry. Movie talks over. It was Vishnupriya's mistake not informing prior. Anala, she is not going to make presentation tomorrow. Tomorrow we are starting with the new activity. First 25 minutes, I'm having this asking your award on the activity. Adukapra we are starting the new activity for half of Thursday, Friday and Saturday. It's again a team activity. It's been a long time since we had team activity. So, okay? Any questions?
Yes, sir. Should we make a PPT for this, sir?
No. மொத்தமாக எல்லாத்துக்கும் சேர்த்தே வந்து 20 minutes தான். So,
okay.
PPTs consume a long time. No problem. Guru Prasanna, okay. Sanjay and Balaji will ask questions to you and you will have to answer.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Guru Prasanna.
Sir, after that award, sir, what activity you are going to give, sir? Just give a glance, sir, about it.
I will be giving you a situation in 1930s. And அந்த 1930sல உங்க எல்லாருக்கும் ஒவ்வொரு ரோல் கொடுக்கப்படும். Just like we had soldiers with trauma, I will fix up character roles. எல்லாமே நானே இது பண்ணிடுவேன். This time Mitra will not help for the PPT. நான் கிரியேட் பண்ணிடுவேன். So நீங்க எல்லாருமே 1930ல இருப்பீங்க. ஒவ்வொருத்தருக்கும் ஒரு சென்ஸ் இருக்கு. லைக் கல்பிதா ஸ்ரீ அப்படின்னா கல்பிதா ஸ்ரீக்கு வந்துகிட்டு இமேஜினேஷன் பவர் இருக்கு. தக்ஷின் சித்தார்த்துக்கு வந்துட்டு சீரியஸா பேசுற அந்த சீரியஸ்னஸ், ஒரு சிச்சுவேஷன்ல சீரியஸா இருக்கணும் அப்படிங்கிற அந்த மனப்பான்மை அவனுடைய மைண்ட்ல இருக்காது. ஒரு சயின்டிஸ்ட் வந்து உங்க எல்லாரையுமே உங்களுடைய மைண்ட் அந்த மாதிரி கண்டாமினேட் பண்ணிடுவான். நீங்க வந்து ஒரு மிஷனுக்கு போறீங்கிறது தெரிஞ்சு the world picks all you 12 people for a wonderful mission and அந்த wonderful mission வந்துட்டு உங்களை அடைய விடக்கூடாதுன்னு சொல்லி ஒரு சயின்டிஸ்ட் வந்து உங்களுடைய பிரெயினை எல்லாம் ஹாஃப் ப்ராசஸ்ட் பிரெயினா மாத்திடும். அந்த ஹாஃப் ப்ராசஸ்ட் பிரெயினை வச்சு நீங்க இந்த மிஷனை முடிக்கிறீங்களா இல்லையாங்கிறது தான் இந்த இடத்துல கதை. இட்ஸ் a story. It's a kind of like a novel மாதிரி போகும். அதுல வந்து தக்ஷின் சித்தார்த் இருக்கான்னா தக்ஷின் சித்தார்த்னால நம்பர்ஸை ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்க முடியாது. கல்பிதா ஸ்ரீனால கற்பனை பண்ண முடியாது. குரு பிரசன்னால பேருகளை ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்க முடியாது. மித்ரானால சீக்வென்ஷியலா இருக்கிற எந்த விஷயத்தையும் இந்த மாதிரி ஐ ஹேவ் அரைவ்ட் அட் சம் கேட்டகரிஸ். இந்த கேட்டகரிஸ் ஒவ்வொருத்தருக்கும் ஒவ்வொரு இதா நான் கொடுத்துருவேன். ஒரே ஸ்லைடு, ஒருத்தருக்கு ஒரு ஸ்லைடு. கேரக்டர் நேம், திஸ் இஸ் தி பர்பஸ் தட் யூ ஹேவ் அண்ட் உனக்கு இருக்கிற பிரச்சனை இதுதான். என்னன்னா நீங்க 1930ல இருக்கீங்க and you are supposed to finish the mission in 1930. அதுக்கு உங்களுக்கு நிறைய ஐடியாஸ் வேணும். ஐடியாஸ் அப்படிங்கறது அந்த நான் கொடுக்க போற ப்ராப்ளம்க்கு, நான் கொடுக்க போற மிஷனுக்கு நீங்க ஐடியாஸை அந்த கதையிலேயே வந்துட்டு ஒரு கற்பனை ஒன்று வச்சிருப்பேன். என்னன்னு சொல்லி கேட்டீங்கன்னா இட்ஸ் கால்ட் as the ancient vault of ideology. Ancient vault of ideology.
Okay, sir.
அந்த ancient vault of ideologyல நிறைய புத்தகங்கள் இருக்கு. எக்கச்சக்கமான புத்தகங்கள் இருக்கு. நிறைய பேர்த்துடைய ஐடியா கிரியேஷன் அப்படிங்கிறது இருக்கு. நிறைய பேர்த்துடைய பிரெயின் சைல்ட் அப்படிங்கிறதெல்லாம் அங்க எழுதப்பட்டிருக்கு. அதுல இருந்து ஐடியாஸை எடுத்து நீங்க அந்த ப்ராப்ளமை சால்வ் பண்ணலாம். அந்த ஏன்ஷியன்ட் வால்ட் ஐடியாலஜியில இருக்கிறது என்னன்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா வேற ஒன்றும் இல்லை, உங்க எல்லாருடைய ஐடியா பேட். அந்த ஐடியா பேட்ல எழுதியிருக்கிற ஐடியாஸ்ல இருந்து ஒவ்வொரு ஐடியா பேட்ல இருந்து குறைஞ்சது 4 ஐடியாஸாவது எடுக்கணும். எடுத்து அந்த பெரிய மிஷனை நீங்க முடிக்கணும். அந்த மிஷனை முடிக்கிறதுக்கு ஐடியா பேட்ல இருந்து ஐடியா எடுக்கிறது பிரச்சனை இல்லை. பட் உங்க எல்லாத்துக்கும் இருக்கிற அந்த பிரெயின் மிஸ்ஹேப் அப்படிங்கிறது அந்த இடத்துல பிரச்சனை. ஸோ ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் கல்பிதா ஸ்ரீயோட ஐடியா பேரில் ஒன்று இருக்குது. அந்த ஐடியா வந்து இந்த புக்கு படிக்கணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு ஐடியா. அந்த புக்கில் நான் படித்த அந்த விஷயத்தை ஒரு இன்சைட்டாக நான் எங்கள் ஐடியாவை எழுதியிருக்கேன். அப்படின்னா மித்ராவுக்கு வந்துட்டு புக்கில் இருந்து வர விஷயங்கள் எதுவுமே மைண்டில் இருக்காதுங்கிற மாதிரி ஒரு வீக்னஸ் இருந்தால் ஹவு ஷீ வில் கான்ட்ரிபியூட் ஆன் தட். நம்பர்ஸ் அப்படிங்கிறத ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்காதவங்க அவங்களால அதை பண்ண முடியாது. ஸோ இப்போ நான் கொடுக்குறது ஒன்லி தி அவுட்லைன். ஆனால் இங்கே மெயின் 2 entities என்னன்னு சொல்லி கேட்டிங்கன்னா, உங்களுடைய ஐடியா பேட்லேருந்து நீங்கள் விஷயங்களை இந்த எக்ஸசைஸில் யூஸ் பண்ணி ஆகணும். which will clearly give me an evidence how much you have written in your idea pads. இன்னொன்று, உங்களுக்கு இருக்கிற அந்த பிரெயின் நியூராலஜி வீக்னஸை மீறி நீங்கள் இதை சொல்யூஷன் கொடுக்கணும். இதுக்கு இன்னும் பேர் நான் வைக்கல, நாளைக்கு மார்னிங் டாஸ்க் ஷீட்டில் பேர் வந்துடும். ஸோ குரு பிரசன்னா, you got the answer for your question?
Yes, sir.
Sir, it's like skit, sir.
It is basically the skit. 2 டீமாக பிரித்து விட்டுருவேன். 2 டீமும் வெவ்வேறு கண்ட்ரீஸ்லேருந்து வராங்க. மிஷன் ஒன்று தான். இப்போ a team led by Mitra, a team led by say Guru Prasannaன்னு வச்சுக்கோம். Team led by Mitra is from India. Team led by Guru Prasanna is from Australia. But mission is there in one particular domain, that is in one chronicle of continent. That continent contains the mission and the 2 pilot act of people coming from 2 different countries. That is from Indian base and Aussie base. They come and they reach the destination. இல்லை நீங்கள் எப்படி டீம் டாக் பண்ணி இதை கொண்டு வரீங்க அப்படிங்கிறத பேஸ் பண்ணி எந்த டீம் வந்துட்டு பெஸ்ட் சொல்யூஷன் கொடுத்தாங்கன்னு பார்த்து that will be decided. It's actually a team exercise. At the same time, there is a drama sequence that is included there, and in a way, it's also a skit.
Yes, sir. It's really nice, sir.
Right. Thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
sir.
Yes, sir. Very nice.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Very nice, sir.
Thank you. I have made the outline interesting.
Yes, sir.
But actingly, நீங்க அதை more interesting பண்ணணும்.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Any other questions? Kalpita, you raise your hand. Come on.
Sir, I just wanted to ask the same question as Guru Prasanna, sir. The idea is really good, sir, and very creative, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Kalpita. Thank you. And the mandate, yeah, thank you, Sanjay Bhaskar. The mandate is very, very simple. 12 பேருடைய ஐடியா பேட்ல இருந்து 5 ஐடியா அப்படின்ற அந்த ஸ்டாக்ல 60 ideas have to be implemented. 60 ideas have to be implemented. So the team will have 6 and 6. அப்போ ஒரு டீம்ல இருந்து 6 5s are 30. ஒரு டீம்ல இருந்து 30 ideas, இன்னொரு டீம்ல இருந்து 30 ideas. இந்த இடத்துல ஐடியா அப்படிங்கும்போது அந்த கேரக்டரோட நேம், குரு பிரசன்னாவுக்கு தனியாக ஒரு கேரக்டர் இருக்கும். குரு பிரசன்னாவுடைய ஐடியா பேட்ல இருந்து அப்படின்னா நீங்க குரு பிரசன்னாவுடைய ஐடியா பேட்னு சொல்லக்கூடாது. அந்த கேரக்டர் நேம்ல இந்த ஐடியா அப்படின்ட்டு அப்போ நான் நோட் பண்ணிக்கிறேன். ஓகே, குரு பிரசன்னா கிட்ட இருந்து 5 ஐடியா எடுத்திருக்காங்க. I'll put that in the chat for my reference. கடைசியில டாஸ்க் முடியும் போது 12 பேருடைய ஐடியாஸும் 60 ஐடியாஸும் சாட் பாக்ஸ்ல இருந்தா தான் எல்லாத்துக்குமே மார்க், இல்லாட்டி யாருக்குமே மார்க் இருக்கு.
Any random ideas, sir, from the idea pad? How can we get to know that it's 1930, sir? So how can we take a research that this could be appropriate for the mission to get executed, sir? How can we?
There is a particular continent, and the continent க்கு intelligence officers from India, intelligence officers from Australia வராங்க. அந்த கான்டினென்ட்குள்ள 10-15 ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் நான் வச்சிருப்பேன். அந்த 10-15 ப்ராப்ளம்ஸையும் குவிக்கா ஷார்ட்டா நான் சொல்லிடுவேன். அதுல ஒரு 5 ப்ராப்ளம் நீங்க எடுத்துக்கலாம். Sir, out of these 15, we, the intelligence officers from India, we would like to take these 5, sir. நான் PPT-லே காமிக்கிறேன். நாங்க இந்த 5 எடுத்துக்கிறோம் சார். நாங்க இந்த 5 மட்டும் ஒர்க் பண்றோம். அந்த 5 ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ்க்கு நீங்க 30 ஐடியாஸ் வச்சு அதை த்ராஷ் பண்ணுங்க. Whereas Aussie based people, சார் அவங்க எடுத்த அந்த 5 ஐடியா இல்லாம மீதி 10 ஐடியாஸ் இருக்கு. இதுல இருந்து நாங்க ஒரு 5 எடுத்துக்கிறோம் சார். ஸோ அவங்க அதுல இருந்து ஒரு 30 ஐடியாஸ் எடுத்து அந்த 5 ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் இது பண்ணுவாங்க. I will make sure that you are not pick and choose the same problem. And even otherwise, if it is the same problem, ஒரே problem ரெண்டு டீம் choose பண்ணா, we would be able to see the different angle of thinking. That is also an advantage. But I will have only 15 problematic situations in that continent. அந்த கான்டினென்ட்ல நீங்க எடுக்க வேண்டியது டீம் டாக் வச்சு கரெக்டா எடுங்க. It doesn't necessarily mean that a team has to take only 5. A minimum of 5 has to be taken. A maximum of 8 can be taken. not more than 8. Don't take too much other than your handling.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So this is only the storyboard, a thumbnail of it. Tomorrow the task sheet, you will have a complete picture of it with the title.
Thank you so much.
You are.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Fine.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
Thank
So
you, sir.
continue. Okay. So continue doing your therapies and continue recording your ideas in the idea pad and continue doing your subliminals to achieve your goal. So Mitra, Sanjay Bhaskar, Ritan Nitish, Mridubhashni, Kalpita, Guru Prasanna, Dakshin Siddharth, Sibi Adityan, Brinda, Balaji, and Aswatam. Keep shining strong. Bye. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Bye,
Sir,
sir.
bye.
Keep
Thank you,
shining
sir.
the